in the DC National Guard and the 257th Army Band. Um, what I'll say is that I think was it before we started officially. I think that I was mentioning that because of where we're located, we are a pretty kick-ass band. So you can see our videos on Instagram, YouTube, but we do some pretty awesome stuff, and we have some pretty innovative members as well. So we have had several videos on Instagram go viral recently. Just stupid little videos, but they're good to get our product out there. One of them involved Hot to Go. We do some, we try to keep up with the times or whatever. And we have gotten quite a bit better at video production stuff, just as a lot of people had to during COVID, right? So we wanted to keep our product out there during COVID. So we were still putting together videos of people playing in their basements, and then with the metronome, they're able to stay on track with each other. So yeah, we persevered through that, and then I think we came out of it as a better band. So yeah, both sound and musicianship wise. So yeah.
The audio engineer doesn't have to be a musician, right?
Correct. Yeah.
He does need to be enlisted.
It does need to be enlisted. Correct.
Which I know scares everybody here.
Look,
I will speak for them. They don't have to speak. I know it's
There's an age cutoff there, right?
there is. So without a waiver, we take people 17 to 35, and then we can waive up to about 42. So that is one of the requirements. But basic training, that is nothing to be scared of. If I can make it through basic training, anyone can make it through basic training. And so I went through in 2009. So restrictions have lightened up. I mean, you don't get your phone but once a week, but but other than that, I consider it including the new Army physical fitness test, the Army combat fitness test. I think of these things as field day sort of thing. It is a lot of physical activity, but it's nothing you cannot train to do. So
20-week field day.
yeah. But it is a long time. But you got to think about what you're getting when you come out of it, and the people that you're going to get to work with. I mean, that you would not get to work with otherwise. So, yeah, it is a long training. I will not try to blow smoke or gaslight or anything and say that that's not. But it's a once in a lifetime thing. So,
How long is the commitment?
The shortest you can do is 3 years. And to kind of explain that a little bit further, and don't let this scare you either, because I'm about to give you a big number. So the military service obligation once you join is 8 years. So that's not 3 years. But what the 3 means is that that's the amount of time that you are actively drilling or coming to work with the National Guard. After that 3 years, you essentially go back to civilian life or you re-enlist. So in that time, that's called the IRR, the Individual Ready Reserve. So in that time, the military withholds the right to call you back into service if there is a need. I have never known that to happen when somebody has gone into the IRR. The last time that they actually brought people back in was the 1960s or before. So that will not likely happen. Okay, I've been in for 2008, and I've seen people get out of our band, get out of the DC National Guard in general, and I've never seen them again because they went into the IRR, and they just that IRR time is called the gray area, which is again where you're trying to figure out if you want to continue service or if you just want to ride that time out in the IRR and then just finish your time out like that. So that the first contract would be, or the shortest contract would be what we call a 3x5. So 3 years actively drilling and then 5 years in the IRR. You can also do a 4x4, you can do a 5x3, and you can do a 6x2. There are no bonuses for band people right now. But if there is ever a bonus again, so I got one when I came in 2008. But if there is ever one for the band people, you would have to do a 6x2 contract, and then you would have to score at least a 50 on the ASVAB. Passing for the ASVAB is a 31. But yeah, so those are the lengths of contract you can do. So either 3, 4, 5, or 6. I usually recommend to people that they do the 3-year, because if you do the 3-year and then you want to re-enlist after that 3 years, you can get a re-enlistment bonus of $20,000. Okay. Any questions? Any more questions?
How much does the audio engineer make?
So it's going to be the same as anybody coming into the military. So you're going to come in as an E4, so that we do get lucky in that sense because we get advanced pay grade. E4 specialist. So most people coming into the military are coming in as a PV1, so a private, and they don't actually have any rank on their chest, right? You're coming in as a specialist, which means that you get more pay, but you also have more responsibility. So as an audio engineer, like, you're going to be, like, when it comes to concerts, like, you're going to be the person that is leading who we deem as the sound team to set up and break down during concerts, right? So, like, with the premier bands, again, the Army Band, the Marine Band, Navy Band, Air Force Band, all in DC, right? All of those bands, they get much bigger budgets than we do, and they have sound teams. We do not have a sound team. So all of the musicians in the band learn how to do this stuff as well. So you would be leading a team of the musicians from the band to set up all the XLR, all the speakers, all the monitors. So that would be your job, and you would be managing those people. So it's a cool experience to be able to lead a group of people, and then that sort of thing helps to give you promotion points to rank up to sergeant as well. So yeah.
As far as the pay scale,
yeah.
So it's E4. How would that compare to like a GS number?
That I don't know. So E4, and you got to think about this in the amount of work that you're putting in, right? So because it's 1 week in a month, like, when you come in as a specialist, it's going to be somewhere between $300 and $400 a month that you're getting for that 1 weekend of drill. Now, when you go to basic training and when you go to AIT, you're getting that same you're getting that same pay grade, but you're considered an active duty soldier, so that's full time. So you're getting paid significantly more than you would be when you're back home as a traditional National Guard soldier. So that's going to be, and if you are paying rent, if you have a mortgage, you're also going to get BAH, basic allowance for housing, while you're an active duty soldier at training. So that's based on the cost of living in the DC area. So that's going to be like between like $2,400 and $3,000 per month to help you pay for your commitments at home, right? So it's. And then if your rent or mortgage is less than what BAH is, you just pocket the rest of that money. So
are you staying on base during this time?
You are staying on base during basic training in AIT. When you come back, you just go back to where you were living before. Yeah.
So you can bank all that money that you're getting.
Yes.
While you
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Last question.
Yeah.
Would I have to come here?
Yes.
Oh, we had something.
Yeah.
Oh, we had a good rapport here. I thought you were going to look out for me now.
And to be clear, there is no combat.
So.
I mean, if I'm cut my hair, you might as well get combat.
So I will just say that if you put the uniform on, the OCP ACU, Army Combat Uniform, there is always the chance that you could get called up for something. And I'm just going to be completely honest. Like, the band was out there during January 6th and Black Lives Matter. So what our role was, though, it was to protect people's right to protest unless it turns into a riot, right? Yes. And there were a lot of confusing things that were coming out, saying that the DC National Guard was doing a lot of stuff, and we weren't. We didn't even have weapons. All we had were shields and baton. That's all. But the band was out there, like, on the front lines of that formation, and they had bricks thrown at them. They had frozen water bottles thrown at them. They had pee thrown at them. So we do have to respond when we are called up,
Yeah.
and so that sometimes we are deputized to support MPD, the Metropolitan Police Department, but that only happens if they say there is a need. Like, we can't just form up at the armory and say we're going to go down to the Capitol. Like, that is not how it works. So we have to be called in, and there was a lot of discussion at the congressional level about that after January 6th. So yeah, I hope that answered the question.
No,
But just know that, like, units in the DC National Guard do deploy overseas, and that just depends on what's happening, what's going on where. So it's possible. So, and it's less likely as a musician, though. So I've been in since 2008, and I have never deployed. The only places that I have gone off the mainland because of the National Guard are in the Caribbean. So we in like 2013, 2016. Our commander at the time struck up a relationship with the 73rd Army Band, America's Hidden Treasure. They are the band of the U.S. Virgin Islands, so they have a National Guard too. So we went down and did some stuff with them. So we got to spend some time on St. Thomas. We also went to Jamaica, and we did some stuff with the Jamaican Defense Force Band. So Jamaica, because of the state partnership program. So the state partnership program was, I've been told, and I have not done any research on this, but I've been told that was the precursor to, or the thing that helped to form NATO. So a National Guard program was assisted in forming NATO. So under the state partnership program, every state's National Guard has either one or two foreign countries that they are partnered with for training, knowledge sharing, all that sort of stuff. So the DC National Guard's two state partners right now are Jamaica and Burkina Faso. So we have had one of our brass groups go over to Africa to do some stuff with Burkinabe, which is like the Burkina Faso Defense Force. So they did some stuff with them. I know what's the word I'm looking for? The political landscape right now in Burkina Faso is a little bit more volatile, so we have not. The band hasn't gone over recently, but we have had groups over in the last like year or 2 years or so. So, but yeah, for me, like, I've never gone anywhere out of this hemisphere, I think, right? Or yeah, but yeah, Jamaica, Virgin Islands. So I can't complain.
Yeah, I hear that. Those are my questions.
Nothing, nobody, anybody?
So I will leave some flyers, my business cards. If you know anyone that's interested, you all have connections to musicians, other audio engineers. If you hear of anybody that is looking for an opportunity, feel free to mention it. And if you have anyone that wants information, so none of us as recruiters, I know that sometimes recruiters get a bad name because they're a little bit too forceful or they try to like twist people's arms to get in. I don't want people in the DC National Guard that don't want to be there. So when I approach people, it's to have a conversation and to see if it's the right fit for them, okay? All I do is put the what service looks like in the DC National Guard out there, and then what the benefits are that come from it. So if it ends up being right, great. If not, then we at least had a conversation. I got to know somebody in the DC area, so that's it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Take your pictures now. That's our social media.
Oh, sweet.
Hey.
Oh, I gotta get the logo in there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
So is that it, guys? You guys are satisfied?
I
You guys
appreciate
are
your
gonna-
time.
Absolutely.
you guys are gonna
Happy to
run-
be here, yeah.
You guys are gonna run out of here, right?
Run out of here.
We'd like to thank Sergeant Wayers for coming.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, yeah. And like I said, I'll leave my flyers and my business cards, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
If I can get a business card, I'll take it. Just to ponder over a couple things. Appreciate you.
Good to see you, man.
Always a pleasure.
Do you